If you're feeling very down, very dreary in your life, if maybe you feel like every day is the same or you're stuck in some sort of rut where you feel very low energy, I encourage you to consider diversifying your fulfillment, bringing back some hobbies that maybe you've swept under the rug, pursuing that thing that looks interesting but that maybe you've told yourself you don't have time for right now, and just kind of filling your plate with a variety of different things and more things that are only to bring you fun, fulfillment, scratch some itch, make you feel excited again. If you only have your life full of obligations or things that feel like something you have to do or something that you're really determined to be consistent with, if you feel like you're constantly forcing yourself, you're gonna burn out, you're gonna lose energy, you're gonna feel like life is such a struggle. But if you spend your evenings doing something that fills up your cup, that makes you genuinely excited to get off work or to wake up in the morning, that is what's going to make your life feel exciting again. Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. We're sitting in my car today. I don't know, I just really felt like doing another car video. I got an Alfred Bolt, which is this like sparkling tea situation. I really underestimated how hot it would be in here. Thank God I wore a tank top. It's not really giving fall. It's like 80 something still in Los Angeles, sorry. The cozy vibes are not here. Today we are talking about diversified fulfillment. In the past couple months, I've been telling a lot of people in my life that I've just felt so much happier, more excited about life, and just like more fulfilled. And I do really think it's because I've taken the steps to diversify the fulfillment in my life and just make my life feel more exciting. I feel like when you're bored in life, you can really enter this cycle of being very low energy and feeling like everything is such a struggle because you're just genuinely not excited, disengaged. You're spending a lot of time on things that are sucking energy out of you instead of filling up your cup. And that's why I think diversified fulfillment is like key. So here's the thing, right? I think I avoided diversifying my fulfillment for a long time because I had the idea in my mind that my plate was already full and that adding more things on would just overwhelm me. And I'm not gonna lie, I do feel overwhelmed sometimes. I think that's very natural when there are lots of moving pieces in your life. But what I started to realize as I introduced these new elements into my life and tried new things, brought back hobbies that I used to neglect for a long time, is that these things that I was adding back into my life that were exciting, fun, new, they were actually giving me energy. They weren't draining me in the way that I expected them to. It didn't feel like a chore or an extra thing on my plate. It felt like something that suddenly was critical to me, like feeling good on a certain day, or for me having the energy to then go work on my more long-term or more strenuous projects and responsibilities. You know, it became a lot easier to go to work the next day when I spent the previous night working on my book or reading or just doing something very fulfilling and fun. I just got back into a full-time job after 2 months of not working, and I've experienced firsthand how hard it can be to prioritize and make time for these hobbies, these new interests, these fun activities while you're working a 9 to 5. It's very easy to fall into the ritual of just like working and then being so drained and tired afterwards that all you want to do is sit on the couch. And I get that, but something I've started distinguishing lately is that there's a difference to me between real energy givers and fake energy givers. Let me give you some examples. Fake energy givers. For me, this is like scrolling on your phone. It might be watching a ton of YouTube. These are things that in the moment feel good, feel like a release. You know, on a break from work, your instinct is, let me give myself some time to scroll. Or when you finish an exhausting day, that instinct, give me some time to scroll. That's the relaxation that I need. But after that, I've noticed I never end up feeling rejuvenated and ready to get back to it. I just feel more tired, more drained, right? So those are like fake energy givers. They give you that short-term satisfaction, but they're not going to actually help you feel better long-term. They're not going to make your life feel more happy, more exciting. Versus the real energy givers. They might take a little bit more effort to do. This might be something like writing, reading, another hobby. I don't know, say you like art, whatever it is, like maybe a hobby you've neglected for many years or something that's always looked interesting to you, but you've always had some sort of excuse of like, I just don't have time. I already have so much on my plate. I don't want to overwhelm myself, whatever it is. Those sorts of things. Or even in my case, this can look like a workout, a walk, calling my mom, anything that's genuinely going to fill up my cup, either in a fulfilling way or just with like a boost of happiness. Those are the things that it's easier to neglect. It's easier to make excuses to think that you don't have the energy to do that. But when you actually do, it gives you that boost. It makes you want to keep going. It's what you really need in that moment where you're feeling drained after a long day of staring at your computer. I think we underestimate underestimate how much we want to feel stimulated, excited, challenged by things, how much we want new things to keep our brains busy and excited, how much we crave novelty and newness. And the more I integrate into my life, the more excited I feel. I'm gonna use some pie charts. So my life before I made this change, my life maybe, I don't know, a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, looked very much like this. Okay, I'm gonna pop a pie chart up on the screen. My time, my attention, my focus was very split between just a few main categories. My fulfillment was not well diversified, essentially. I was hyper-focused on a few semi-draining things. Work, obviously I had to work. I gotta say though, I've never been that obsessed with work. I've always been more focused on other things, so I'm grateful for that. YouTube was a giant chunk of the pie, and just like side hustles in general. So there was like one other side hustle that I was doing back in 2021 when I first started YouTube. I feel like I was really consumed by the idea of working for myself and making passive income, and overtook my time and attention, and it wasn't working. So I felt frustrated a lot because I was so hyper focused on this thing, instead of the perspective I have now, which is kind of more like, I'm gonna keep working on like YouTube, but I'm not gonna hyper fixate on it. I'm not gonna check it every day. I'm not going to have these expectations that it's going to blow up instantaneously. You know, I still want to enjoy my life in the process instead of being so future oriented. So that was a huge piece of the puzzle. And then social, I'm putting social instead of relationships here because I feel like I was just trying to fill a quota socially back then. I wasn't feeling overly fulfilled by the friendships I had. It was very much just like feeling like I needed to go out and do something every once in a while. So I was trying to maintain some semblance of social life, but I didn't really feel like I had close friends. And looking back on it now, the friends I had at that time were just pretty different from me in a way that I feel like now the friends that I have, I feel a lot more connected to and on even footing with. I was also at this time still maintaining friendships with people who I have now since distanced from, due to the fact that I realized I was only really socializing with them for the sake of being social and not because I felt I was building strong relationships with them, which kind of sucked to realize, but it really was true. So that's pretty much what the pie of my life looked like for the most part. I was working, and then in almost all of my free time, I was really prioritizing the grind, whether that was YouTube or when I had that other side hustle. I was very fixated on that grind, okay? This did not lead to a very fulfilling life. I'm sure that's not shocking, right? Now let's take a look at what I would say the pie of my life looks like a little bit more now. There's a lot more going on. Family relationships have become a lot more critical, more meaningful friendships, like having friends that I'm genuinely excited about, proud to be friends with, and that I feel like we have a lot in common. But then the hobbies are what I think is the most key and what has made me feel the most excited, namely writing. Writing a book, which is something that I used to do in middle school and high school, and I think going back to your old hobbies is one of the easiest ways to find that sense of excitement, that spark of wanting to do something, that spark of just fulfillment. I can't believe I waited so long to do this. I had the itch to do this for months, and honestly, if there's one thing you get from this video, let it be, if something looks really fun, interesting, exciting, and you have your eye on it out of the corner of your eye, follow those instincts. Sorry guys, my camera literally keeps overheating, so I'm gonna hold it in the shade and see if that helps. So writing this book, like, I can't even put into words how often I think about my story, how connected to my younger self I feel, how genuinely excited I am to work on this project, and how grateful I am to have it. When I'm feeling less motivated or excited about other things in my life, this has become the go-to thing that I'm like, I'm always excited about this. So for so long, I told myself that it didn't make sense for me to start this project. I was like, you know what? I just started a new job. I really need to focus on YouTube. YouTube is the thing that I've been grinding on for 2 years, and I don't want to lose focus. And I've had that thought when it comes to a lot of things that pop up and interest me. And something that I've realized is that I trust myself to stay consistent with YouTube at this point. Adding other things in my life that fill me up and that make me feel like a more interesting person, that make me more happy and fulfilled, is only going to benefit those other areas of my life that I'm trying to protect, right? Adding these new pieces to the pie don't take away from what I'm trying to do on YouTube. They help because they make me feel better in my life, and when I feel better, I make better content, and they help me not get too caught up on the YouTube numbers, because when YouTube was my only thing outside of work, when YouTube wasn't going well, it felt like all of my eggs were in that basket, and it was really frustrating when I wasn't growing, and I just felt like it had a lot more of a strong hold on me. And now that I have like this book project and these exciting relationships where I'm excited to make plans with these people, and photography, which has also become a slice of the pie again for me, reading, which I got back to, that was again something that I did when I was younger, but that I then felt felt like I didn't have the time for because I was spending that leisure time on my phone or watching TV, which ultimately, like I said, is one of those fake energy givers. Where was I going? I totally lost my train of thought. Oh, yes. When my YouTube channel is not doing well, or I'm not feeling very inspired or motivated on YouTube, which happens, right? There's going to be highs and lows, and there's going to be lulls in motivation or times when your channel isn't thriving. I have other things that I can turn my attention to get that sense of fulfillment and that sense of excitement when YouTube isn't doing it for me, or when my job feels dull, or when I feel like I'm not succeeding in some area of my life. There's other things that I can turn to and still get that sense of accomplishment, fulfillment, joy. And that's just been so key to making me feel like a happier person. Editing Braille jumping in here real quick to add on to this. I feel like another way to look at this would be asking yourself, like, what does my heart want today? What does my soul want today? Instead of just, what does my brain want to get done today? We all know that I'm a planner, right? I love a weekly plan. I love a to-do list, but lately I've been feeling like having insane to-do lists with everything I want to do, it just has been burning me out and making me feel very not present, very much like I'm going through my day just with the intention of checking things off, which I really don't like. Oh wow, I just moved my desk by accident. So I feel like I'm really starting to get away from that sort of model of making everything into a to-do list, everything into a schedule. I feel like there's a lot of value in blocking off time chunks where you allow yourself to play and exist a little more freely, whether that's, you know, taking yourself to a park for a few hours with no expectations, maybe bringing a book and like a notepad and just like showing up and giving yourself that time to play and exist freely without any strict expectations. Or for me, this has taken the form of park writing dates. I've mentioned this in a vlog where me and my friend will go to the park with our laptops and we'll work on our stories together. And that just feels like play, you know? I think that's one of the things that I've liked the most about writing again is because I'm not overly concerned with the technicalities of it or what I'm gonna do with the book. I have ideas for those things, and it's not like I'm not thinking about trying to make the book good, but it does still genuinely feel like play, especially working on a first draft and kind of figuring out the ideas as I go. So while I'm not trying to demonize planning at all, I think too often we focus too much on what we should do and forget to ask ourselves, what am I craving right now? What do I want to do? Like, what sounds fun and enjoyable? And instead are a little too focused on trying to use willpower to do the things that we set out to do. Like, I'm trying to learn to be a little less structured and strict with myself, be a little bit more intuitive, see how I'm feeling in a given day before I commit to what I want to do that day, and just kind of ask myself, check in with myself, what would feel good today? Am I in a super motivated, productive mood where I want to get a ton of shit done? Or am I feeling a little more slow and intuitive and I want to take it more easy and maybe make some more time for like play and exploration? Little side tangent there, but yes, I think that's important. When your life starts to feel overly scheduled and just like you're trying to get as much done as possible, it's a little suffocating. So block off some time to just let yourself play and live. There's a million responsibilities, there's a million obligations, a million things maybe you can and should do, but I encourage you to maybe put some of those off in order to give yourself some time to actually fucking enjoy your life and do something that feels exciting to you in the moment that maybe wasn't on your plan for today, maybe wasn't on your plan for this year. Writing a book, not on my goals list for this year, but that just genuinely has you excited in the moment. All right, we're gonna wrap this video up here because I am suffocating. It is so hot. Clearly car videos need to be a winter thing for me. Holy shit. It's like 80 something degrees and I'm sweating. Anyway, if this is your first time on the channel, hello, my name is Brielle. It is so good to have you here. I make all sorts of content about life in my 20s, personal development, productivity. If any of that interests you, definitely be sure to subscribe. I can't speak anymore. If you love my content and want to support me, I will have my Ko-fi page linked down below. And I'll see you guys again next week with my November reset already. Crazy. Bye.